Speaking of connectivity and infrastructure, a major project was announced on the sidelines of the G20, the India, Middle East, Europe corridor, or the new spice route. The idea is ambitious, to connect Europe to India via the Gulf. The project includes railways, shipping lines, highways, and data cables. It's not just about trade, it's about bringing the two regions closer. As of now, there are 8 partners: India, the United States, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the European Union, France, Italy, and Germany. Now, this promises to be a game changer for connectivity. But some countries are not happy. Countries like Turkiye. Their president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, is opposing the new spice route. He says there can be no corridor without Turkiye. So what is Erdogan proposing? Well, he supports another corridor in the region. It's called the Iraq Development Road. The Gulf states are also part of this project. But the route is different. Take a look. The entry point for the new spice route is Dubai. But for Turkey's project, it is Iraq, a port called Al-Faw in the southern Basra province. From this port, trains will take the goods to Turkey and from Turkey to Europe. The project has a budget of $17 billion. It's supposed to create 100,000 jobs. And the returns? More than $4 billion every year. Iraq says this project will be completed by 2029. Now, interesting fact, the UAE is also part of this Iraqi project, which is a bit strange, right? You're part of the new spice route, you're part of the Iraqi project, and you're also part of China's Belt and Road Initiative. But you see, that's the reality of these projects. They're full of competing interests and confusion. We made a list for you. All of these are proposed economic corridors. Number 1, the North-South corridor. It's around 7,200 kilometers long. It will connect India to Russia via Iran. The agreement for this was signed way back in 2002. But even today, it's not fully operational. Number 2, the Europe-Caucasus-Asia corridor. It includes the European Union and 13 other countries, most of them from Asia and the Caucasus. It was proposed back in 1993, but even today, it's not really a corridor. Number 3 is the Trans-Caspian corridor. Again, the route is the same, from Central Asia to the Caucasus, and from the Caucasus to Europe. Much like the other two, it's still in the pipeline. Number 4 is the Northern Sea route. This one connects Asia to Europe via the Arctic. Most of it lies in Russia's economic zone. What do these examples tell you? That economic corridors are tough to make. On paper, they make absolute sense. The trade between Asia and the European Union is more than $2 trillion. Most of it goes through the Suez Canal, so countries are looking for alternatives. Quicker and cheaper alternatives, which is why the spice route is so important. It can cut shipping times by 40%. Let me put that in context for you. Right now, shipments from Mumbai to Europe take around 28 days. That's 4 weeks, 28 days. The new spice route could reduce that to around 16 days, so slightly more than 2 weeks. And in trade, time is money. But before you get excited, let me also tell you this. Such corridors are easier planned than implemented. You have 8 stakeholders here. You have even more participants. All of them have to be on the same pace and on the same page for the project to succeed. Plus, who does what? You need to agree on funding. You need to acquire land. You also need to recruit and mobilize labor. All of this is going to take time. The stakeholders will be meeting again in the next 60 days. They will be charting the next steps. But that's where China's Belt and Road has an advantage. A, it's much older. China began the BRI way back in 2013. They already have an extensive network. And B, it's easier to implement. Just think about it. China does not have to consult anyone about BRI. Their money, their decisions. That's how China works. But with other corridors, it's different. There are multiple stakeholders, so multiple interests at play. To get all of them aligned is tough. Having said that, it's necessary to have these alternatives. China's BRI has plunged countries into debt traps. Xi Jinping has weaponized connectivity. So we need alternatives. The new spice route certainly looks like a solid one. It passes through the stable parts of West Asia, like the UAE, Jordan, and Israel. Some of the other projects do not. Take the development project, which Erdogan is proposing. Most of it runs through Iraq, and in Iraq, stability and safety are major concerns. The spice route's logic and maths certainly check out. It's all about implementation now.